you are prolific in the sheer volume of valuable content that you release. What's your guys' content strategy? How do you think about it? What's your schedule on that? How often do you record, or how often are you writing stuff? Do you have team members that are doing this for you? Like, how we help a lot of people from just like a context perspective. We help a lot of people in my agency with creating podcasts and repurposing content and their overall content strategy and stuff. And you guys kill it and crush it with that on multiple platforms. So I'm curious to hear kind of what your, strategy and kind of day-to-day content operations look like.
Yeah, so generally, as we've been gradually now expanding across platforms, general strategy is always to look at the platform and the unique opportunity that I think each of them offer, in terms of the content that's presented, the how, content is presented. So we've gotten into video content for TikTok and little skits. So it's kind of taking what exists and then seeing how we can modify the message, what it is that we want to share, using the framework that that platform offers. So as we've been gradually expanding that means then thinking about content in new ways, thinking about how to present what was once a meme in like a more scripted delivery of these little vignettes that we've been doing, or how to translate it into a thread in Twitter. And so as we've been expanding, we now needed to expand the manpower behind it, and having, kind of team that helps post, manage certain accounts. I mean, we now have an Instagram account for the circle, for the soundboard, our podcast, and all of the things. So making sure, however it is, or whoever it is that's putting, the message up, that it's still the voice, right? Coming from, our ideas, the way that we would say things, tailored to the content, and then listening to the community on each of those platforms. I mean, that's something that we have done from the beginning, is, always listening to how messages are landing, to what content is of interest, to what's the next question that comes to mind once you read this meme, to the next meme, to kind of sequence then what happens next. And it's not anything that we've ever kind of formulated, written down, and never modified. It's actually a living, breathing conversation, is the way I think I like to think of it, with the communities that exist on all of these platforms, allowing it to be a collaborative effort, of kind of, what are you interested in? How is it, easy to hear and communicate and metabolize these messages and make it as relatable as possible.
What does your team look like now, just on the content side?
In terms of, what do you
Just
mean,
number
number?
of people, yeah.
We actually just we hired on a person who is helping us, an individual with some back end things, and actually who is able to translate into Arabic. So we have a new
Oh, great.
movement where we're going to have some Arabic translation pages. So she's a new addition.
Awesome.
And then we have another team member who runs some of the accounts. So it's a little bit of, I would say, 3 or 4 people in
Okay.
general,
Just on the
which is,
content side.
and other things. We
Yeah,
don't
sure.
have just a content type designation. Often there are people that are, wearing multiple hats, working in the circle, doing other things at once, and doing that.
And then how many across all platforms combined, even if it's the same video on 4 different things, like how many pieces of content do you think you're distributing on a monthly basis at this point?
That's a really good question. I don't know. Several pieces of content usually go out on each platform, a couple threads a day, a couple
Yeah.
posts a day.
So
Our video content gets batched, in terms of when we're recording it, usually.
So you're up
based on
around
things.
300, 400, 500, maybe, if you add them all up across all platforms.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
A
That,
lot.
that's the strategy. Yeah, that's why I was asking. I was just curious. Yeah, that's something that's been a hypothesis of ours recently, is just really shooting for quality of the content, but also volume of quality content, and then finding what works and then creating more about that thing that works really well.